the David Bowie song that inspired a classic Paul McCartney album. The significant influence David Bowie had contemporary culture is evidenced by the fact that many biggest musical list him as influence. The Londoner's tremendous impact on the vast world of contemporary popular music. It is simple to locate examples of his influence, such as Chris Cornell, Shirley Manson, or Gary Numan. Without a doubt, Paul McCartney, a former member of the Beatles, David Bowie was most influenced. Ironically, the future starman had been dropped by his previous label Decca after a run of commercial and critical failures, and in 1968, the famed but notoriously unstable label of the Liverpool band, Apple Records, rejected him. The label had no interest in David, he said. Bowie's former manager Kenneth Pitt, who in his book also made fun of Apple's head of A&R, Peter Asher. It took me some time to get in touch with him, but once I did, he informed me. Over July 15, he sent a letter stating that Apple Records was not interested in signing David Bowie. As we informed you on the phone, Apple Records is not interested in signing David Bowie, he wrote. I requested a letter to that effect and inquired as to whether he would approve it. The explanation is that we don't believe he is what we are looking for at this time. Thank you for your time. Peter Asher was unavailable to sign the brief letter himself, but a secretary with the initials CO did it on his behalf. Bowie persisted despite being turned down by the biggest record company of the time, and eventually achieved the fame he so desperately desired. He honed his technique with 1969's successful Space Oddity, and with 1972's seminal glam rock album Ziggy Stardust, he earned true fame. After this seminal record, the decade would be all his, and he would continue to grow stylistically to keep his audience and critics on their toes. Bowie, who had already achieved enormous success in Europe, conquered America and rose to global fame with the 1983 release of the disco-inspired album Let's Dance, which was produced by Chic founder Nile Rodgers and featured jarring guitar riffs by Stevie Ray Vaughan. Naturally, Paul McCartney was motivated by the song's popularity and used it as motivation to create Press to Play, one of his classic albums, in 1986. McCartney expressly hired Hugh Padgham, a well-known producer best recognized for his work with Phil Collins and XTC, to give the album a contemporary feel. In an interview with The Washington Post that was published in 2017, he stated that Drive by the Cars and Let's Dance by David Bowie were the two songs that inspired Press to Play. This may come across as a flippant comment from the artist, but Bowie made a fairly smooth shift from the avant-garde pop music of the 1970s to the flashy side of pop music in the 1980s, which definitely influenced McCartney, who aspired to a similar rise in popular culture.